Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. I have two topics for you today. My topic number one is the RBI had decided to write off loans worth 68,607 crores of the top 50 defaulters of this country. RBI said, we will write it off. There was a huge problem where Congress said, how can you write off? On what basis are you writing off? And a lot of Bharatiya Janata Party pro-government sources said that, boss, please understand there is a difference between write-off and waive-off. Now, today we will understand the difference between write-off and waive-off. So, that's my topic number one. My topic number two is International Finance Services Center. Mumbai was planned to be the International Finance Services Center. All of a sudden, on 27th of April, through a government gazette, Mumbai was removed and Gandhinagar was put in. Now the International Finance Services Center will be in Gandhinagar instead of Mumbai. How fair is that? Let's discuss. Let's get right into the show. So the RBI decided to write off 68,607 crores worth of loans from the top 50 defaulters. The opposition cried foul. Now the government said, listen, you know what? What are you talking about? What is so big about writing off a loan? You see, the government said there is a difference between writing off and waiving off loans. So, don't get excited. Why are you getting so excited? Okay. Now let us deep dive into this difference between writing off a loan and waiving off a loan. Now let's start with the definition. Loan waive off is complete cancellation of recovery of loan. That is the definition of loan waive, which means that there is no chance this money will come back to the bank. That is loan waive. Loan write-off is a non-performing asset is considered a loan write-off after all avenues of recovery are exhausted and chances of recovery of the due loan seems remote, but does not mean that the loan is completely cancelled and cannot be recovered. This is the actual definition between loan waiver and loan write-off. Now they say loan waiver is what probably government gives to the farmers, for instance. They were given a loan waiver. Whereas loan write-offs are normally decisions taken by the bank. So this is what loan waiver and loan write-off is. See, the question is not that waiver and write-off are the same. That's not the problem. And not that we believe that because it is written off, therefore everything is forgotten. That also is not fair to say. But the fact remains that the moment you write off a loan, in your mind somewhere it is very clear that now recovering of this loan, the chances are remote. Why am I saying this? I am saying this is because if you remember almost a year back, our good Prime Minister had given a speech. In a speech, he had said this.
जब भगोड़ों में भी कानून और अपनी संपत्ति जब्त होने का डर हो तो ये डर अच्छा है.
Even then, I said, कोई नहीं डरता. No Vijay Mallya, no Mehul Choksi, no Nirav Modi is scared of India, scared of what we are going to do. Nothing is going to happen. And it happens, it will happen. It will take its time.
जब भगोड़ों में भी कानून और अपनी संपत्ति जब्त होने का डर हो तो ये डर अच्छा है.
When fugitives have fear for their ill-gotten property and will be confiscated, then this fear is good. This is absolutely incorrect. We are talking about, I possibly presume, he is talking about freezing of Nirav Modi's assets. Vijay Mallya, he is possibly talking about freezing Vijay Mallya's assets. He is possibly talking about freezing Mehul Choksi's assets. He is talking about the freezing of all those assets. Now let me tell you something. You see, assets were freezed even in 1950s. Dawood's assets were freezed 20 years back. What happened to him? Vijay Mallya's assets you freeze, no? He is spending crores of rupees per month on hiring lawyers. And believe me, if you think that Vijay Mallya is going to be back in the next couple of months or something, nothing of that sort is going to happen. Let's be very clear. He is going to go to the higher courts in UK, and if the higher courts rules in favor of India and extradition, then possibly he may come in, which is a long way from today. What are we talking about? Kaun sa dar? Kisko dar? Maybe at that point in time, Vijay Mallya will file somebody else. Acha, now this fellow Mehul Chokshi, he is in Antigua. He is in Antigua. He gave up your citizen. He is sitting there. Where are you going to get him from? What fear is he having of yours? So what fear are we talking about? Why do we make such statements which is not true? And possibly a lot of our audience, our viewers will go, hey, you know, हमने डराया, हमने धमकाया, कुछ नहीं हुआ ऐसा. Nothing of this sort happened. He is there in Antigua, maybe having a drink there and enjoying himself. Vijay Mallya definitely is doing that right now in London, somewhere in London. Where is the fear? Who is fear? So now what happened? In 2019 March, 1 year back, I had said that koi nahi darta. Nobody is scared of us. So finally what happened? We ended up writing off 68,607 crores worth of loan. Vijay Mallya is still in London enjoying. Mehul Chokshi is still in Antigua enjoying. Nirav Modi, wherever he is, still there enjoying. Nobody has come back. Our money gone. My objective from this editorial is not to blame the government. I don't say that the government can overnight get all the defaulters back into India. I don't say all that. The point that I am trying to make is very simple. People used to default before. People used to run away from India before. People default now, and people continue to run away after defaulting. Nothing has changed. You see, Mumbai has been the financial capital of our country, right from independence. Mumbai and Mumbaikars have strived to make the city the financial capital. There is tremendous amount of effort that has gone from a lot of people to make this a financial capital. And believe me, it is no government that helped Maharashtra to make Mumbai what it is. It is the people of Maharashtra, people of Mumbai, and people of all over in the country who comes and works in Mumbai has made what Mumbai is. In 2006, during Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's time, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had dreamt of making Mumbai a International Financial Services Center, IFSC. It's a very prestigious thing. Not only prestigious, it is very profitable also for the state and the city. First of all, why was Mumbai recommended for IFSC? It was no favor that anybody was doing on Mumbai. Mumbai was recommended for IFSC is A, because of its infrastructure. The infrastructure of Mumbai. Mumbai caters to the top corporates in this country. Mumbai already had the infrastructure. And most importantly, geographically, between London and Singapore, Mumbai comes right in the middle. So even geographically, Mumbai was suited for it. So we were infrastructurally equipped, we were culturally equipped because the commercial center is anyway in Mumbai, and more importantly, geographically, we were placed perfect. Now the advantage to Mumbai and Maharashtra would be that the estimated number of jobs that IFSC could offer was close to 1 lakh. And the allied companies that could happen because of IFSC could be another 1 lakh. So IFSC happening in Mumbai could have bought Mumbai 2 lakhs jobs. Okay. Now for this, when Manmohan Singh planned it, he had earmarked a place to build this city, this IFSC city center. He had earmarked a place in BKC, Bandra Kurla Commercial Complex. Now, the moment Mr. Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister, in his mind, he was very clear that the International Financial Services Center would go to Gandhinagar. The first step that he did to ensure that he doesn't come into Mumbai is to remove the land from which was earmarked for IFSC and give it to that bullet train thing. The BKC land was removed and that bullet train, whatever metro or whatever that railing, that land was given to that particular organization. So there itself, normally most of the people realized that ye IFSC yahan hone wala hai nahi. This is not going to happen in Mumbai. And as Mr. Modi, our good Prime Minister, wanted, 27th of April, through a gazette, they announced that the IFSC is going to be in Gandhinagar. When revenues are given to states without them actually working and earning them, the problem starts there. We are not holding our chief ministers accountable for their income. When a company, a professionally run company, ensures that every branch of that company makes profits. If one branch doesn't make profits, the head office ensures that that branch and that branch manager is penalized because he doesn't make profits. The head offices ensure that few perks of that particular branch office are taken away from them because they didn't make profits. Finally, a good managing director is a person who ensures that every branch under him makes profits. A good managing director is a person who does not give a branch anything without the branch deserving it. Is Gandhinagar infrastructurally as equipped as Mumbai? Answer is no. Does Gandhinagar have the kind of corporates headquartered in Gandhinagar as much as we have it in Mumbai? Answer is no. Does Gandhinagar have the kind of capital that Mumbai has? Answer is no. Does Gandhinagar have the kind of manpower and the kind of resources that Mumbai has? Answer is no. You know what Gandhinagar has? Gandhinagar has just one thing, and that is a dream that Prime Minister had dreamed of, which is the Gujarat International Finance Tech City, GIFT, as he call it. And because of that gift, he gifted IFSC to Gandhinagar. You decide how fair is that. Namaskar.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.